Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. I'm on for the next part of my creative design team project for Tracie Fox. So I am using the Little Regent budget journal kit for this one, and the freebie that is on her website, which is Emily's Expectations. Next I want to make an ephemera holder to put in my thing. I don't quite know what to call it. Books within a book thing. And I had this page which I've already folded as it was going to go into my little journal. But I've decided I don't want to use this page for that, so I'm going to use this for my little ephemera folder. So like I said, it's already folded that way for a page, but I might fold it again over this way. So I'm just debating whether I should try scoring it first to get a crisper fold. It's 8, so about 4 would be halfway there. So I will score it at the 4-inch mark. And we'll try and get it a bit even here. I can cut down any bits that stick out. There, so that will be the size of our little booklet. Now, it would be nice to have that as the cover, either that or I fold it back the other way. Decisions. Yeah, I think I'll leave it like that. Might even have it that way, with the feather just peeking in like that, and the bulk of the feather at the back will look good. All right, so that's the base of it. Now, because I've folded it, you know, it sticks out a bit there, I might cut that down. I might try and straighten that up a bit. That's a bit better. See if I can get that crisp. It's not too bad. I might line it after I've put in my little pockets. Just so it's not so white. We will see. Now next I have this vellum. I have a big lot of it here. I'll open it this way. I want to look for a colour that I think will go with my theme. So I've brought in some of the bits that we've already made here. The cover and my writing board, just so I can see what colour I'd like my pockets to be. Now I got this vellum off of Marketplace secondhand. So I got it nice and cheap, which is great. This one has roses on it, which would be nice. And it sort of goes with my colours. So that's a possibility. Then we've got this, which, God, it's a bit dark in this. It's hard to tell the colours. That's why I actually really like that better, I think, than that, yes. So we'll put that to the side. Now, my other options are, and I've got like so many colours in here. It's just the most wonderful lot of vellum. So I can usually always find a colour that goes with my project. Now that is too dark. We also have this cream, and we've got pearl. Decisions. I think pearl's a bit too blingy. So I think it'll be between the cream and the white. I'll see what other pinks I have as well. Really do like that white. I'll keep the cream out just in case. I might stick with the cream. Almost like the white better, but I think the cream on the whole is a bit more vintage. So I'm going to measure the height of my page there. And that is about 5 3/4 of an inch. I might do 2 pockets at the bottom of both pages that are 1 inch high. So we'll need 4 times 1 inch, 2 per page. And if we leave like 1/2 inch in between those, I think would be adequate. So that would be 1 1/4. Then add an inch would be 2 1/4, and then add a 1/2 inch is 2 1/2. And then we'll do some pockets that are, I think, 3/4 inch. So 1, leave that. 2, leave that. So then we can fit 3. So we'll need 6 times 3/4 inch. And that's 3 per page. And we can still leave a 1/2 inch gap between them. That's if I've added it up right. We will soon find out. I might just grab my cutter to do the vellum with. Now, it looks like if I put my page up against my vellum there, opened up, there's a little bit of overhang. So each strip I cut here is going to give me 2 pockets, 1 for each side, which is going to be great. We need a piece to begin with that is 7 1/2 wide. Some of the edges or corners can be a bit damaged from being packaged the way I packaged them. So I can see the corners a bit wonky up here. So what I'll do is take that edge off, I think. The other one looks pretty good. If you hear a noise in the background, it's my son yelling at his friends on his games. Got to have my door open so the dog can wander in and out so I know that she's behaving herself. So what do we work out? 7 1/2 inches. So we'll go to 7 1/2 there. Make sure it's straightish. Take that off. It's always like, which one do I cut first? But we'll cut this. So now we're going to take this down to 3 3/4, which is there. We should have 2 bits then at 3 3/4. Or thereabouts. Yeah, that's looking a bit crooked. This cutter does not do me justice sometimes, but it will work. We'll make it work. So what I'm doing is putting those bits together, hopefully even enough. And then we'll cut our 2 pieces. Now we need 4 pieces that are 1 inch. So I'll shove it in this way since we know those ends are together-ish. Shove it in this way for 1 inch. There. Hold that down so we don't move it. That should be 1 inch. Push those bits out. And then we've got to do another one for 1 inch, or another 3 for 1 inch. Usually I would use my pencil and ruler and cut them out, but then I have the lines on there, so I thought I would do it this way. Either way, whatever works for you. So hang on, we're doing them double up, aren't we? So that is 4. Goody. I was going to do another 2 then. 2 cuts. Okay, so we've got the 4 at 1 inch. So now we need to do that 3 times doubled up at the 3/4 inch. And that should be our pockets cut. So 3/4 inch. This is going to be hard. Actually, I can't do it that way because I can't see where the 3/4 mark is. Let's have a look. If we do it about there, and I'll just guesstimate a bit. So the vellum's nice and sturdy to do pockets with, and I enjoy the fact that you can see through it a bit. And then one more cut of it doubled up, and we should have our 6 small pockets. Okay, now we'll keep these bits as well. I'm not sure if I'll do a few more pockets, and we've got a 4-inch pockets, and then we've got 6 here of the about 3/4 of an inch. Not looking too bad. Now that's the outside. Make sure I've got it the way I want it. Yeah, we did think that as the front, didn't we? So we'd be folding this down. So now I'm going to stick my pockets down. This is where I will have to measure though, where we're going to put the pockets. So we'll put some dots in the middle, but the dots in the middle will refer to both sides. So the first pocket we're putting right down the bottom, so I don't have to put any marks where that's going. But after that, we're leaving the 1/4 of an inch gap. So I do have to put a mark at the 1/4 of an inch. Hopefully I'll be able to see that. And then we've got another pocket that's the inch, which will go to there. Yeah, that works. And then we'll have 1/4 of an inch gap, and we'll have another pocket there. And then that one will be 1 inch, 1/4, 1 inch, 1/4, and then we've got a 3/4 inch pocket and a 1/4 of an inch gap, 3/4 of an inch pocket and a 1/4 inch gap, and then our last pocket up there. So those lines should help us with putting the pockets on both the sides. So now we do the same on the outside edges. So we've got 1 1/4 and a mark. Then we've got 1 1/4 and a mark. Then we've got 3/4 and a 1/4, which is 1 and a mark. 3/4 and a 1/4, which is 1 and a mark. Don't know if I'll be able to see that mark. And that's it for that side. And then the other side. Let's hope this works. I might have to rub them out as I stick stuff down. That is all right. So we will start with our inch ones, which would be one of these. Maybe we'll put them right to the edge there. So that's leaving a fair bit of a gap in the middle, but that's all right. It doesn't get too bulky then. All right. So now I'm going to tack these down with my tacky glue. See if it's going to come out. Sounds like it might. Oh, yep. And this one will go down in this corner. Just don't want it hanging over the edge. Just flick my paper up a bit. I can chop off. If it does, I can chop it off. It doesn't matter too much. We will sew this on as well because I don't trust just glue holding it on for too long. And then we'd get another one that is the 1 inch. I'll get my rubber ready. Make sure I can see my other mark. Yeah, I can see it just there. So we need this side to line up with the mark that we've got there, which would be something like that. So now I'm going to rub this mark out a bit. I can sort of see where I want to put this side. So put that there. And then try and line it up pretty good with that mark. That looks all right. Stick that down. So the tacky glue does dry sort of clear-ish. Can see it a little bit down there, but we are sewing around, so it won't matter too much. And then I will continue with my 3 smaller pockets. So that's all the pockets on that side done. Oh, try not to rip my page. So what I'm going to do now is exactly the same process for the pockets on this side. So this is what we've ended up with. I think I'm going to line the inside of this page and create pockets in either side here. And I will sew around it when I do that. And that will hold on the bottom and these sides. So what I might do is sew around the inside and the bottoms of these other pockets to make sure they stay on. I'll do it with the zigzag stitch. And I think I will do a pocket on the back as well. I think I'll use one of my offcuts here. So what I will do is just lie this down on top and grab my pencil. About like that. And just cut that off there. I come in here, I haven't been in here for ages and I can't find anything. I know it's all here, but I still can't find it. I think that will do. What I might do is just cut it down a bit shorter. So I'm going to tack that on and then I will open this up. I'll have to open it up while I'm sewing these on. Make sure I've got everything up the way I want it, or else it'll be a dilemma. Yeah, those pockets are that way. That's the back. So we'll be putting it on like that. Yes. This pays to double check these things. So again, this is going to be held on when we stitch around the whole thing. So I will just stitch down the inside edge there at this point, if I can remember that. I have sewn all my edges of the pockets on, like I showed before. You can see it's just the bottom and the inner edge of those pockets, as we'll be going all the way around afterwards to put it together. So I've swapped over to a voiceover and sped it up now, or else it will just be too long a video. Inking around all the edges, just using vintage photo for this project. This will be the topper that I want to use. Beautiful picture of a bird there. And I want to put a little bit of the shopping paper. I have some little scrap bits left lying around that have the gesso or the paint on them. So I thought I'd use them to put behind my focal point. Just got the, what do you call that thing? A de-stressor. Just de-stressing the edges a little bit and then inking around them. Finding another bit of grocery bag to put on the other side of my bird picture. Now I'm going to glue my focal point onto my two bits of shopping bag. Just makes it a bit more scrappy having them behind it so all the lines aren't so straight. Just got an offcut of the material that I used. I think it was for my journal cover that's going in this book thing there that I'm putting underneath as well. Use up some of the scraps as I go. Now I'm just putting it together so I can see how big I need to cut the lace that I want to layer it on. It's a nice wet day here in the Adelaide Hills, South Australia. Nice and quiet afternoon inside, so I thought I'd get in and finish this video off. So I'm just sticking my focal point to the bit of lace first, and then I can stick it to the front of our little ephemera book. So now that that's done, I want to line the inside of my page pockets with some more of the shopping bag as well. Won't be so white when you look in there then, but it also helps me slip things in and out. For the outside of both of my pockets, I want the paper to overhang a little bit. So I'm just measuring up to the inside of where the pocket's going to be of my page, making sure I've got it sticking out the way I want it. Then I'm measuring it up against another piece of paper so I can cut to the same size, which I've just done. Now I want to line the inner parts of our two pockets as well, but I don't want that overhanging. So I'm sticking these pieces down first so you'll see what I mean. Now I'm trying to make sure that they don't go right to the middle crease there. That way when we fold things, it's not going to be too bulky. But as I said, when you're putting things in and outside the pocket, you won't just see the plain white, you'll see the shopping bag. Just trimming off the excess there. Now this will be on the same side pocket there. That's the overhanging piece. I'm putting that atop the back piece so I can make sure that the overhanging bits stick out exactly the same, and then just folding that front page over on top. So now I've just got to line the inside piece of that other pocket. Now this isn't going to be as big a piece, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's smooth along where we're slipping things in and out. It doesn't matter that it doesn't go sort of all the way to the back of the pocket. Just trying to use up some of the offcuts. So once that's done, we can go and sew our little booklet together, leaving the pockets open. So I'm showing you here, I'll sew along that side, and then I'll sew along the other side before we put it together. And then I'll fold it up like that, and I will just sew down the bottom, and that'll put it together, but it will leave the pockets open. But there'll be sewing along them, which helps hold the inner pieces that are stuck on. So now I've gone and sewn it all together, and I just want to embellish the front a little bit more. I have this little flower. I'll link down below the tutorial where I made those flowers. I die cut materials to make those. I also have a little die cut botanical piece there. So I'm going to stick that on first. That had been cut out of cream cardstock. One day I just cut a whole lot of them out of different coloured cardstocks that I had scraps of. So I'll blot some of the excess glue off before I stick it down. And then you can see I've got a pile of cotton there. That's just the excess cottons that's come off of the ends that I've snipped with the sewing that I'm doing for this journal. So I'm sticking my flower onto the cotton, which is the wrong way to go about it. Usually I'd stick the cotton onto the booklet and then the flower on top to hold it all down. But I was trying to tuck all the end pieces in under, which didn't work. But you can see when I go to put the glue on to stick the flower onto the page, it just messes up my cotton. So it was a bit difficult, that. So now I'm going in and just trying to tuck those end pieces down under my flower petals, which was fiddly. It's mainly up the top there that I want the end pieces tucked in. Down the bottom it doesn't matter so much. I don't mind them sticking out there. I'll just trim some of those off. Here is my little ephemera folder, all finished now. I haven't added anything to any of the pockets because I'll probably put some ephemera in it when the journal's finished. I'm trying to make a lot of spots in this journal holder and journal thingy where I can stash a whole lot of cool ephemera for the recipient to be able to use within the journal or anywhere else that they like. So that is the front. Love the little embellishment that we added. That's the back. We've got our vellum pocket on the back, so we'll be able to fit a journal card or tags or whatever in there. Note paper. And then you open it up and we've got all of our little pockets there. So there's 5 pockets on each page. You can see I've left the threads along. I like that look for this piece, but they can always be cut off or cut shorter. And then if you open, it'll be best if you open it up to be able to slip something in these pockets. Sort of hides the fact that there's a pocket there by having this overlay, but it also helps slip something in there. And they're quite big pockets to be able to fit some nice ephemera in. And extra sturdy because they're lined with the shopping bag as well. I really like how this project has turned out. It is a part of my design team project, my creative design team project for Tracie Fox. This project's probably going to take me forever. I'm just doing a little bit at a time and showing you as I go. And it is using the Little Regent budget kit that she has in her Etsy, which is linked below. Also using her freebie, which is Emily's Expectations on her website. And I may be playing with 1 or 2 other kits in it as well, but they're the main base kits that I'll be using. And they are gorgeous and I'm really enjoying using those. So check out the links below. Take care of yourselves. Happy crafting and I will see you again soon. Bye.